Here's exactly how you're going to stop procrastinating and start creating content, but you're not just going to post for no reason. You're going to do it in order to build a brand that is actually sustainable online. This is what you want to do if you actually want to earn an income from content creation and not just post in the void or for the sake of posting. Quick disclaimer on this podcast, this is not for the person who wants to just hit record and post whatever they feel like. This is for the person that wants to build a personal brand intentionally, that wants to build something that is sustainable for the future in their content creation journey. So if that's you, stick around. There's plenty of lessons in this video. And before you can actually get off your butt and start creating content, there's one obstacle that you need to overcome. That is the fear of getting behind the camera and filming yourself. If you've ever hit record, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it can be the one thing that stops you dead in your tracks before you even start. So this is the first thing that you've got to overcome. Let's look at it like riding a bike. The first time you hopped on a bike, you knew you were not going to be the best at it. You knew you were going to suck because every other kid that you'd seen get on a bike was terrible. And so when you got on the bike, you already knew what was going to come next. You fell. It's the same thing with content creation. The first time you get behind the camera, you're going to suck. You're going to clam up. You're not even going to know how to speak properly. I guarantee it. But the whole point of looking at it like riding a bike is that you need to understand that it is a skill, and it's a skill that you train every single day. I first started training it with short form content. If you are uncomfortable posting yourself raw on TikTok or on Instagram, I understand. So instead, what I recommend is start recording yourself in small 10 to 15 minute batches each and every single day. Every time you hit record, think about how you can improve from the last time you did. No improvement is too small here, but there are some things that you can focus on that can help you be much more comfortable speaking to camera. One thing is creating an outline before you sit down. Know what you're going to talk about before you do. The other is go slow. It is okay if you slow things down. The slower you speak to the camera, the easier it is for you to get your thoughts out of your mouth. And the less likely it is for you to start going in with ums and ers and long pauses. But one of the things that helped me a lot was to just kind of close my eyes and take a moment of silence and a moment to just say a couple of things before I even start talking about what I want to talk about in the filming. What this does is it gives your nervous system a chance to calm down after you hit record. Give it a try. And I promise the more times you hit record, the more comfortable and the more fluid it's going to become. It's not going to be perfect right away. It is going to take time, but the more times you do it, the better it's going to be. And that is how step by step, one day at a time, you will get better at talking to camera. But before you actually hit record on a piece of content that you are going to post, there's a few things that you need to nail down before you do. The next obstacle that you have to overcome is something that we'll call building your community. And this one reminds me a little bit of a book I read when I was a little girl called Roxaboxen. Maybe you've heard of it. But it's about a little girl in an Arizona town that looked across her house one day and saw a hill that wasn't anything special, but she decided that it was. And so she started building an imaginary town. And before long, her brothers and her sisters and all the other kids in town started joining her. And they each started to see what she saw, which was a beautiful place that they could make their own. Starting your content creation journey is kind of like that. You have to see the vision and you have to fully understand what it is before you can invite anyone else in. And while Miriam saw something special on that hill right across the street from her house, you've got to be able to see something special in the area of your content that you talk about. Now, you might ask why the story actually matters. And here's the thing. When you are building a community, it's not something that comes naturally. It's something that you have to create a world around, create this sort of environment or experience to welcome people into. That is what builds true community online, because you can't do it face to face. You've got to do it by communicating messages through the videos that you make, through the writing that you put out into the world. So take an afternoon, get a pen, get a paper, and start writing down some things that you think are special and unique about your area of content that you want to create. If you talk about fashion and styling, think about the reasons why you feel the way that you do about fashion and style. Were there certain people that stuck out to you that shaped the way that you think? Who have your mentors been? And what do you believe that nobody in the fashion and styling space does? Those are going to be the things that are going to be your community builders. Because if you are standing on nothing and there's nothing that you have to say that's bold or strong enough of an opinion in your space, you are going to blend into the content that everyone else is already creating. If you are not clear about why you are different from anyone posting about fashion or styling, no one else is going to be, and they are not going to follow along. The next obstacle you have to overcome in posting content is your relationship role. This is who you are to the person that you talk to in your content. If you don't know that, your audience isn't going to know it and they're not going to understand. This is a critical piece of the puzzle if you are starting content creation and you want to be successful at building a personal brand online. Because it's not just building a community, it's building an environment for the community to live in. And that is why you need to have a solid relationship with the person you're talking to. I like to think of it like a coffee shop. Most of the world of content creation is kind of like the baseball stadium across the street. It's loud, it's obnoxious, it's in your face, and it's over edited. For me, I like the coffee shop. I want to walk in there, settle myself down into a comfortable chair, and I want to enjoy my coffee in a mug, not a paper cup. That's the kind of environment that I want to create with my content. And when I'm talking to my audience, I'm talking to them like a friend. Those are the things that are going to make the difference in the experience that your audience gets that makes them want to stick around. So you need to decide, are you a teacher? Are you the best friend? Are you a mentor? And that relationship is going to determine the way that you talk to them. For me, I talk to you guys like you're my bestie. We're sitting in my living room having a chit chat. And because that's the relationship that I'm establishing with you, the way that I talk to you and the way I explain things is going to be very different from somebody who's coming at this like the teacher. Here's some things to think about when you're determining your role. Think about your past experience. This is an area where you can let your expertise shine if you have it. That would be an excellent place to situate yourself into more of a teacher or expert or mentor role. Now, if you are somebody who's building something from scratch like me, going into a role that is a little bit more like a friend or a big sister or a type like that is going to be a lot more of a natural fit for your speaking voice and your actual expertise. Now, why this matters is because the type of relationship that you create should correspond directly with the type of atmosphere you are creating for your content. If there's a mismatch there, there's definitely going to be an audience mismatch too. These two things should work together to make this the perfect place for the right person to land. So get clear on the relationship that you want to have with your audience so you can get real clear on how you're going to talk to them. Now, the last obstacle to posting content is going to be your posting cadence, because once you start, you have got to be consistent or your audience is not going to stick around. Think about it like a business. If you went to your favorite bakery and they were not there on the days that they were scheduled to be there, how would you feel? Your audience is going to have that same feeling. And it's not something you can easily recover from. So you've got to set your posting cadence up in advance and stick to it. Now, there is no magical amount of posting that you need to do on any platform at any time. You're the boss. You get to be the one to decide when to post and how that works for you in your content creation business. What I recommend is setting up a schedule that you can realistically commit to. If that's once per week, if that's twice per week, or even 3 times per week, that's okay. If it works with your schedule and it's something that you can do without killing yourself, do it. But what I don't want you to do is set unrealistic expectations. If you are setting yourself up for 5 posts a week and you've never done this before, you are setting yourself up for failure if we're being completely honest. So don't do that to yourself. So once you've figured out what your posting times are, stick to them. Create a schedule to where you can film, edit, and post your content on time every single week. And that's literally it. That is everything that you need to start creating content tomorrow. Sit down, make a plan, and start executing it. There's no more excuses. Now, if this was genuinely helpful for you, please like this video, share it with somebody else who's been stuck on the fence of trying to create content, and don't forget to subscribe because I am sharing all the tips that I know about how to build a personal brand from scratch.